Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a special surprise for you. I am making this video only because it'll probably trigger quite a few people. It's not going to be very long. I'm not going to do any repairs. It's not a show and tell. Well, kind of is a show and tell. This is a Sanyo Plus series. Plus 75, which means it's supposed to be 75 watts. I believe this was one of the first, if not the first, receiver ever made with a combination analog and digital frequency display tuner on it. And I'll show you in a minute. But the reason why I'm showing this to you at all is because this was an eBay purchase. I've had it for about a year, but never really did much with it when I got it. I didn't pay a lot of money for it. The seller stated it powered up but didn't work, which was total BS anyway. But when I got it, I tried to power it up and didn't work, nothing. So I investigated it, and this is kind of what I found. The fuse was blown, and I have jumpered this fuse. And I have jumpered this fuse because it's soldered onto the board, and I haven't really gotten to the point yet where I was curious whether this worked or not, and I'll show you why. This is the board that's attached to the STKs. It's got two STKs on it. And I've got the board propped up with this. It was just kind of flopping around in there. Somebody had obviously been in here and tried to do some kind of troubleshooting. I'm the one that put the cassette tape in there just to hold the board up off the thing, because what I found is all the caps on this board that's connected to the STK were blown off the board. Can you see that at all? There's just pieces of cap in there. Somebody had also disconnected one of the STKs trying to get it to work, and I think that's probably when it blew. Anyway, what can I say? Beautiful receiver, huge transformer, classic silver-faced design, and I actually, in my stupidity, because I'm a stupid person, decided if I could get it at least to power out. And I've got it hooked into a dim bulb, but I think that's a 40 watt. So I'm going to go ahead and power it up. I've got it tied into my Yamaha receiver over here that I use for testing purposes, but I've also got a lot smaller amplifiers, but I figured, you know, I'm not going to blow the receiver up. Anyway, I don't know where to start with. I don't know what to say about this, but I'm going to show you. I did get it to power it up. Are we ready? You're going to see the dim light. There's the dim bulb. And it powers up.
Yourself. You drunk too much on yesterday. another reason for it. Manasseh, his son, was 12 years old when he began to reign, and his life was extended 15 years. So Manasseh was born after this sickness. Now, what about Manasseh? Well, Manasseh was the worst king that either kingdom ever had.
This is mono.
Manasseh worse than Ahab and Jezebel put together. And I think it's during this reign that the Shekinah glory departed. Because if it didn't depart during his reign, I can't think of
Signal meter works. I know the FM stereo light works.
Very much like
the quartz lock light works.
The man of sin that's yet to come.
The meter does not work. And I think it's because whoever diddly fucked around with this board, one of the SDKs is still connected. I think it's pulling down some current. Light doesn't go out. It's actually dimmer than it looks on here, but it's only a 40-watt bulb. So. But I just wanted to show you, this is what you can end up with if you buy something from eBay. You get this. I've got this hooked into the tape out. That's how I'm getting the reception on this out to the amplifier. But boy, I'll tell you what, this is going to be I don't even know if I can find these STKs anymore. I looked, and you could buy a Chinese knockoff, but they weren't that cheap to begin with. And chances are, if I put another couple of Chinese STKs in here and put new capacitors in this board, it's probably going to blow up anyway. I don't know. It's got quite the heat sink. This whole thing's very heavy. I do have the cover for it. It's got a beautiful cover. It's really a shame, because this is actually a very pretty receiver. See, the little lit needle dial moves with. Isn't that cool?
He'd been sick and was recovered. And this is very interesting here. Merodach actually means the rebel, and Baladon means not the Lord. And his full name means, therefore, the rebel, not the Lord. And back of this king, of course, is Nimrod, the founder of Babylon, and Satan, who is the real rebel against God. He's the god of this world. And this man now comes with flattery. These ambassadors that were sent over, they brought a letter.
Yeah, it doesn't have any effect.
They flattered Hezekiah. They said, why, the king of Babylon's been concerned.
Really a shame.
And so he's sending over a gift to rejoice. And Hezekiah was glad of them and showed them the house.
I should probably turn this off before it blows up. Smelling a little burny.
Now, this man, at this time, you see, have not lost very many of the riches that Solomon and David had gathered.
All right, I just wanted to show you this. It's kind of disgusting, actually. I didn't pay a lot for this, but if I was to I don't even know if the guy would have taken it back, because it was sold as is. And when I bought this over a year ago, eBay hadn't started cracking down yet on forcing people to return stuff. What are you going to do? I think I only paid like 25 bucks for this thing. I should have known. You know, we buy things like this when they say it doesn't power up, because we're thinking, well, you know, maybe it's just a fuse, right? Never is the fuse. I've never been lucky enough to buy anything off of eBay that wouldn't power up. You open it up and there's a blown fuse right there. And it's just like a random blown fuse. It's always something. It's always one of the power transistors. STKs, kiss of death. The proper way to do this at this point would be to buy those discrete STK replacement kits. But they're running about 125 bucks a piece. And I'm not sure there's actually room in there. It would have to fit under this board. I don't know. I hope this triggers you. I don't want to hear any comments. I didn't do it. Yeah, maybe I should have tried to get my money back for $25 plus $40-something shipping, which it would cost minimum to send this back. It wasn't worth it. Live and learn. Back when I bought this, the post office hadn't decided to get its hooks into everybody. Actually, I think I bought this when Trump was still in office, and he was trying to crack down on the post office, and they were kind of like watching what they were doing. But ever since Biden's been in office, guess what? They've just gone freaking nuts, like the teachers union has. I saw today the Chicago Teachers Union wants a 10% raise. They want abortions paid for, of all things. So many things wrong with this country right now. I could just spend an hour listing those. I don't know what's going to happen in November. I'm not going to recommend anybody to vote for, but all I ask is that you at least think about it before you go into the voting booth. I mean, I don't know who's going to be running in November. It's entirely possible they'll yank Biden off the ticket and put somebody else on there real fast, like Obama. I could see them dropping Obama in there real fast. I could just see that. All right, well, you know, I may be totally full of crap, and I probably am, and I know that about myself, but I kind of wanted you to see this. In all of its glory, this is probably worst case scenario for an eBay purchase. So if you do buy something from eBay, make sure you buy it from somebody that actually sells other electronic equipment, and look at their feedback, because if they send crap like this out, they're not going to get positive feedbacks. I normally don't buy anything off of anybody that's got multiple negative feedbacks, especially if it's about electronic equipment. But this kind of was from somebody that didn't sell hardly any electronic equipment. It was mostly the kind of crap that they buy at the thrift store, like you know, those crappy $10 boom boxes and stuff. And I figured it was worth the money. I mean, for $25, because this is actually, if this were working properly, it would be quite the deal. Dare I power it up one more time? Maybe you'll see some smoke. I'll finish it off. All right, you ready? One of these times I'm going to do that, and it's going to pop more capacitors out of there. Now, I know this is like the worst thing ever in the freaking world to do, but it is. It's not sitting on anything. So, and I'm not getting a huge draw. Like I said, that's a lot dimmer in real life than it is. And it is only a 40-watt bulb. But, last thing I'm going to say is, you can't buy incandescent bulbs anymore that are over, I think, I don't know. I found these. I found like 5 of them. They're 200-watt clear incandescent bulbs. They're at the Dollar General. They had them in a discount box, and they were trying to get rid of them. I think it was like a couple days after the mandate where they couldn't sell incandescent bulbs anymore. And I bought the 4 that they had. I think they were like $1 a piece, but I'm saving them for when, I think this is the last of my low wattage incandescent bulbs I've got. So I keep smelling this thing. I'm expecting it to catch on fire. Isn't that something? I mean, it's a shame. The tuner sounds really good. Now that's in mono. I can't get a stereo channel on here, but I don't want to play any of the rock and roll music you're playing on there, because I will get a copyright warning. And I've gone 8 videos now that are getting a copyright warning by using music off the religious channels or talk shows, and I think a lot of other people are going over to that too. I don't smell anything burning yet. I mean, And yeah, that's not good. But why would you solder the fuse onto the board in the first place? That's beyond me. It's a 5 amp fuse. And I have a 5 amp fuse in it. I didn't stick a 20 amp or 10 amp or a 2 amp. I actually have 5 amp fuses. Alright. Hope you all are doing well. I'll post something that's not as horrifying. I'm actually going to fix something, maybe on the next video. I decided I need to do that because I really haven't fixed anything on any of my videos. I just kind of... I have more of a deeper... I don't want to say deeper. It's I do it differently. I said before, I was a field service engineer for 34 years. Every day I had to diagnose problems very quickly in people's places of business that they were standing around waiting for me to get fixed, to the point where I actually would have to fly parts out next flight out, go to the airport, pick the part up, bring it back. That whole thing would take about 4 hours, depending on where the part was coming from. And they would actually be waiting for me to get back from the airport to put the part in to get the machine using it, be able to use the machine again. And if I didn't order the right part and I put that part in and I just, you know, $300-400 to fly the thing next flight out, that was, obviously I wouldn't have kept my job for as long as I had. So I had to diagnose everything before I actually started throwing parts into it. Sure, I carried parts with me. I mean, if you flew out somewhere, you would have to bring a parts kit with you. So I had like a huge tool bag, a metal tool bag, and a parts kit with boards and crap in it, but you never, I mean, a lot of times you didn't have what you needed. So anyway, so that's why I do what I do now. I'm kind of like, it's like an antithesis of what I used to do. Oh, I guess this isn't going to burn up. I don't want it to burn up. I mean, unless I find some SDKs, I'm not even going to start screwing with this thing. That would be the first thing I'd have to do. It's not burning. I'm not smelling like it's burning up. Alright, guys. That's it for now. I hope everybody's doing well. Catch you on the next one. Bye.